Hello, and welcome to Containment Breach 3 Minute Meets. I am Christian DeMatteo, co founder of Fugitive Poems, and we're here today to talk about or talk with one of the incredible contributors to the Containment Breach series. Actually, our guest today is part of Containment Breach Volumes 3 and 4, and I believe was in Volume 2.
Yep.
Because Tom, our guest, is a fantastic letterer among many things. And we had a one pager in volume 2 that Tom lettered. So Tom has been in 3 of the 4 containment breaches. Volume 4 isn't even out yet. We are kickstarting volume 3, depending on when you're watching this. We might be kickstarting volume 4 right now, depending on how you're watching it. But they are all in production, and Tom Lynott is a major part of it. It's a guy that I'm really thrilled to have met. Tom, how you doing?
Doing great. Absolutely.
Tom, tell us who the hell are you?
So my name's Tom Lynott. I live in Arizona. I have been lettering comics for a little under 2 years now. I got into lettering comics after I took a course through Comics Experience. It's an online kind of like forum school thing run by Andy Schmidt. And so I took a class with Sean Reinhardt. That would have been in May of 2021. Found out I really enjoy lettering. It's a perfect meld for me between, it's kind of like it's art meets computer type work stuff like what I used to do before, many moons ago before I quit my job in 2016.
We There's no way we'll have time for all of it in what's supposed to be a 3-minute thing. But as I've gotten to know Tom over the last year, there are many lives of Tom. I think I've been saying your last name wrong. I've been saying Lynott. How do you say it?
It's perfect. Lynott. Most people get it wrong. You got it right. You're doing
okay,
great.
Good. Okay, I thought I heard it wrong. In volume 2 of Containment Breach, Myth Reborn, we have a story called Tetragrammaton, written by myself and drawn by the unbelievable Gabe Martini, and that's over here. And Tom lettered it, and it was, I think, the first time I'd worked with you, and we had just a tremendous time. And Tom's one of those guys that if he doesn't know it yet, he's going to figure it out. If he didn't know about it, he's going to find out all about it. And no ego, all energy, large helping of sarcasm, but on it, and it's been really cool. Tom, so you started taking 2021. You decided to take a class on making comics. Why?
Yep.
Are you a comic fan? Are you a lifelong comic fan, or no?
I was so in 2020, before COVID and all that kind of fun stuff went down. I had I did a run of reading George Orwell novels. Actually, I read 5 novels in like 2 months, and I got to the end of George, and I thought, my God, this stuff's amazing. She's oh Pete, I got to lighten up on my reading though, And so literally, me not knowing a darn thing about comics, I put in famous comic books or something like that on the on Google, and it came up with Will Eisner and Mouse. Oh, geez, oh Pete.
For your lightening up your reading, you go to
That
Contract with God and Mouse.
that totally, that's what it was. Yeah. So I didn't lighten up too much, but I'll tell you what, I totally got into it. But yeah, it was too funny. That's what it got me into was Contract with God and Mouse. So I thought, oh, okay, sure, I'll read those, and I thought they were awesome. Moved on to Mike Mignola. I've pretty much read everything that guy's ever written. I love it.
So okay, so that you do that, and
Yep.
you take comic experience and decide. So you reading Orwell, decide to lighten up your reading, which takes you to comics which you've never read before. Reading
Yep.
a comic takes you to deciding to try to make them. Is
Yep.
this like is this Tom? Is this how Tom works?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So it's when it's time for me to make a life change, I go full bore into it, and that's pretty much what happened here. And so I at first I took a writing class, how to write like a 4 pager, And as you've seen, I've just recently been writing one or two pagers for the Comic Jam, but that's only been a couple of months ago. So the writing part, the scripting, it didn't really grab me all that much. And I bet you I took 4 or 5 different classes from Comics Experience. The lettering class was the third or fourth one. And when I took that with Sean Reinhart, I went, ooh, this is it. This is what I want to do. I'm digging this. And I've been practicing ever since and doing my work.
In my brain, I'm forming theories about you, which are not right at all to do because I don't know you that well. But I'm starting to. Is kind of what I do as a writer, right? But do you think that once you got into the lettering, that gave you a handle on writing in a different way?
You want to know what actually I think what got a handle on writing for me is something I wanted to mention when you showed that Tetragrammatron story. That's how I met Gabe.
Mm-hmm.
And Gabe's the one that um, drew my first story.
Yeah.
So, I mean, literally, Jack got his in first, but because Jack Von Thumb, he drew my first one pager for, actually, it was a two pager for the Comic Jam, but Gabe had gotten my five, was it a 4 or 5 pager for?
So this is
Yeah,
Jack Van
there's
Thom,
Jack's.
Containment Breach, Volume 2.
Yep.
He's in Volumes 3 and 4, actually, as well. Jack is an incredible artist. We keep talking about the Comic Jam, thecomicjam.com.
Yep.
Go there. Now, you go there if you want to be a comic creator, if you want to learn the craft, if you want to play around, if you want to meet cool creatives, but even more so, go to Read Great Comics once a week. You get the perfect excuse to stop working.
Yep.
When these one-page comics are released, every week there's a new theme. The people there are so cool. I've gotten to work with so many incredible folks. I learned so much. I'm going to tell you, Tom, I was terrified of writing a one-pager. I'm a writer.
Yeah.
When I came to the Comic Jam, I was already writing comics. I got that. I know what to do. But I had not had the guts to do a one-pager. The idea of not having a page turn is terrifying. And I learned so much. My writing, my prose writing, working on novels and short stories, has gotten more efficient and crisper. And because it's another way of thinking, and you're also getting to work with all these other creatives. No ego. You know, at Fugitive Poems, we have our no a-hole policy.
Yeah.
That we'll just swiftly terminate the relationship if it's not fun to work with you, because this is a passion project. And there's none at the Comic Jam. Everyone's wonderful at the Comic Jam.
Absolutely.
Casey Allen is the editor in chief over there. Absolutely incredible human being. And this is where I got to meet Tom, and Tom and I both met Gabe here. Gabe drew my first comic for the Comic Jam.
Oh.
Cut. So yeah. So forgive me for interrupting. So now
No worries.
you're saying that Jack got your first one pager. Actually, you snuck your first to be a two pager.
Yep.
But you and Gabe had worked on your first comic.
Yes.
And that's going to be where?
That's going to be on the Comic Jam anthology. So that story's finished and it's sitting there and it's ready to go. But it was actually him looking at my scripts, showed him a couple of my scripts, and he said, "Sure, I can do this." And that's what really gave me the confidence, I think, to go forward and finish something. And I finished that one page, and I'm sorry, the one story. It's a 4 pager, and it's beautiful. I just love looking at it. The art, everything that Gabe did to it, I lettered it, and I think I did a pretty darn good job of lettering it. It just looks. I like looking at my story, you know.
And Tom, you lettered ours for the same anthology, the Comic Jam.
Yep.
Laura Crowley.
Yep.
I'm so sorry, I'm not prepared. I can't remember the full name of it right now.
Laura Crowley. Yeah, I don't remember.
Bestiary or something like that. But it's a really cool. It might be out now in the future when you're watching this. Go to thecomicjam.com, look for their anthology. It's kickstarted. And Tom and Gabe have a great story in there that Tom lettered. And James and I have a story in there called Dragging Aggie, which Tom also lettered. and also came out beautiful. It's just been a lot of fun to work with you. So the reason I asked is that you strike me as somebody who you want to see sort of moving pieces. You want to see something and be able to put your hands on something. And I wondered if thinking about the lettering was a good angle for you to get into writing. Wondering how it would be presented as part of the art. That was just popped into my brain.
Yeah, I've never really thought of it that way. I've always been able to, or I'd like to think I've been able to separate my lettering from my writing part of comics, but I'd have to think about that one. Since obviously I've lettered a heck of a lot more stories than I've written.
Well, and this is the thing, is that you've broken into comics. I mean, like a wrecking ball or a bulldozer. You decided you were going to do it, and I've watched you. Hi, I'm Tom. I'm learning to letter. To hi, I'm Tom. I've lettered everything here, including your bathroom wallpaper.
Yes,
it's now lettered. And by the way, I have here's a collection of 600 stories that I've written. I mean, to me, that's how I feel. I know Tom. It's like, oh, that guy. Oh, Tom.
Yes, it's working.
and you're getting into a lot of different things, and rightly so. You're a pleasure to work with, and professional, and on top of things. So, what did you do for Containment Breach? Let's talk about Volume 3, Monsters, Beasts, and Bastards.
Okay. So let's see. I'm not sure which stories going in which one because I
totally put you on the spot.
You finished. Yeah, you did. Thanks, man.
Well, how about we can talk about working with Brent Fisher and Brian Beardsley on mine?
Wow. That dude, you want to talk about a writer, Brent Fisher. Holy moly. Okay, so I know him so I picked up once again, because Gabe was in it, I wanted to support Gabe's work, and I knew that he was in The Color of Always. So I picked up a copy of that, and there are about 10 or 11 stories in there, and Gabe's art, and there's a gal and I don't remember the names, but there's a gal in there. Her art and Gabe's are like amazing.
Keep going. I'm ready.
Okay. So anyway, there's 2 stories. There it is. Yep, that's the book. So I picked up that on Kickstarter. So that was Brent's names in there. Brent's story is very well written in there. I like the story that he wrote in there in The Color of Always. And so when you teamed me with him and Brian, I was really excited about that. Super excited that I was working with Brent.
Lillian Hockwender.
Is that what it's called?
Gabe's story, Sea Change.
Yeah. Oh my God, that stuff. Look at that clipper ship, the Cutty Sark that he did. Oh my God, that is crazy.
Yeah, no,
that
incredible.
Is amazing. That art is off the chains right there. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then I think there's a story 1 or 2 after that, and it's 2 gals that wrote it, or I'm sorry, a gal that wrote it and a gal that did the art. It's the art for that one. It's the story about the drag queen.
Yeah.
It's a good story, and the art is amazing on that one too.
Yeah, it's terrific.
Yeah.
Brent, I just got Brent's latest from Dauntless Publishing, a Psalm for the Changed, and read it last night. It's up in my room. I don't have it to show. It's terrific. Brent is an incredible writer.
His writing's really good, man. By far, absolutely.
Tom, what else should we know about you? Where else should we look for you? What else are you working on? Right now, people are watching this video. They want to check out more Tom Lynott. Where do we go?
So the only thing I really have, I'm awful at social media type stuff, but I am on Twitter, TJ Lynott. I do have, if you check out my profile, I do have a really, it's kind of a portfolio. It's a bit outdated. I need to contact people to see if I can use other pages for their stories. And I just figured out within about a week or so, or over the last couple of weeks, how to put together kind of a quickie website sort of thing using Adobe products. So I'll probably be diving into that, and that I'll potentially have a kind of a website sort of thing with all my work on it. And I have I think enough body of work now to have a robust thing to show people. Should be
Excellent.
cool.
Well, if you
No worries.
we got a bottom scroll going on here, you see Tom's contact information, Tom's Twitter,
Yep.
and you'll also see Fugitive Poems. Go to fugitivepoems.com. Click on that Kickstarter link. You're going to want Volume 3 and Volume 4 later on in 2023 of Containment Breach. My goal was always to put out the anthology that I always want to buy. So
Okay.
often you buy an anthology of any kind, of anything, not just comics, and there's like 2 or 3 great stories, like great, and then there's 4 good stories, and then there's a lot of other stuff. And I never wanted Fugitive Poems product to be that. And I can say now with 4 books, and again, when you're watching this, we might only be up to 3, but 4 is in production. Um, we still have not, we've still only put out winners. I am awed and honored and grateful for all the incredible indie creators we have in these books. We want people to see their work. We want people to see our work. We're getting to work with great people, and you're going to want this. You're going to want this book. You're going to want Containment Breach. So go to the Kickstarter, back the project, subscribe to this channel. There are more incredible creator interviews like with Tom. Go to at Fugitive Poems on Instagram, at Fugitive Poems on Twitter, at CBMETC, the worst handle in history on Twitter. I didn't know I was ever going to be telling anybody when I created it. That's actually a funny story I'm not going to tell right now. Go check us out. We are Fugitive Poems, and we make comics.